Based on your years, both as an actor and director, and then through your years coaching several actors as well, what do you believe are some of the most important skills that actors should develop in their craft?
Well, I had three major acting teachers, Uta Hagen and her husband, Herbert Berghoff. And they were the ones who after I'd studied with each of them a couple of terms, Herbert got me teaching there. And the other major acting teacher I had was a guy called Robert Lewis. And I was in a thing called the Lincoln Center training program when they were training actors for what was meant to be the Lincoln Center company that in the event all fell apart. But the training program was, and he was the acting teacher, Robert was 8 months, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You weren't paid, but on the other hand, you didn't have to pay anything. So you got, and Bobby Lewis had been before that. He was already a major acting teacher, and like Uta had written quite a few books about it. But he was also like a Broadway director. He directed a lot of Broadway hits, you know. He was originally with the group theater, so he had that whole kind of training of the method in Lee Strasberg. And then he wrote a book where he openly challenged Lee Strasberg, said everything that Lee Strasberg is teaching is wrong and it's killing American acting. And so that was a huge event in the industry. And Lee Strasberg, of course, was the guru of what was called the method and all that. Anyway, so, but what the mantra that Bobby Lewis would say over and over and over again in class for those 8 months was talking and listening. Talking and listening, if you're not, you can be doing the most shatteringly deep work. You can have the most exquisite understanding of the way the play uses language, but whatever kind of language it is, the play, whether it's realistic language or heightened language, you can have all of that. But if you're not talking and listening, it all goes down the toilet. He would just, and the way when he would critique a scene all during those 8 months, he would say, the first thing he would address was the quality and the work of the scene that had just been done, of the talking and listening. And then over the years, we remained friends for the rest of his life, which went on for decades. He would come to see shows I was involved in. And he would say, we would go out, and the first thing he'd say, would say the talking and listening, and this one was really good, or the talking and listening, and this one is not up to your usual standard. And that was always the first thing he addressed. So that was the cornerstone. He said, we first have to do that, and then we can get into the finer points. But a lot of the finer points are going to be able to make, they will make things clear on the emotional levels, on the relationship levels. If you just simply talk to each other and listen to each other, that's worth hours and hours of analyzing a relationship or analyzing, you know. So, and so that was the huge thing I got from him, and that everybody who studied. And in that training program were people like Frank Langella and Faye Dunaway and Barbara Loden, people and very promised people of, you know, who went on to fame and fortune. And there was, and the other great thing, there was an 8-month program, September to May. We were told there were 30 of us, hundreds of actors auditioned. They picked 30 of us. We were told at the end of the 8 months, half of us, 15 of us, would be taken into the company that was going to open the following season under the direction of Elia Kazan. And so I think part of the reason, and I pass this on, I realized about halfway, and so effectively it was an 8-month audition for the company. And although the company crashed and burned as soon as it started the following year, still it seemed like it was going to be a major, It was going to be the equivalent of the National Theatre of Great Britain, but here, and very important actors were going to be involved, like Jason Robards and people like that. But I realized everybody else was so tense all the time. And I mean, some of them were doing extraordinary work, but they were just, it was hard on their system. And I realized about halfway through, I didn't really care whether I got into the company or not. I'm just getting 8 months of primo training, not only from Bobby Lewis, but on movement from Anna Sokoloff, who was a legendary choreographer of the day, and the speech teacher was magnificent. And I'm getting all this free training every day for 8 months. So I don't care whether I get in the company or not. It's 8 months is just a gift.
Right,
A
right.
gift in the literal sense, because I didn't have to pay for it. And so I would get nervous when I would put up a scene, but not in terms of will I get in the company or not. Just I would get nervous. I would get, because I was going to do a scene. And so those were the three tributaries that flowed into the river of my training, was Uta Hagen, Herbert Berghoff, and Bobby Lewis.